Welcome to the Vector Garden. In this video we are going to create this kind of fireworks explosion. We are going to check out two different ways to create the base artwork, and then we are going to apply that colored look to that. So I'm going to create a new file, and let's make this an RGB file to just get brighter colors, but of course you can create this in CMYK as well. Like this, and then let's have a background in here, like so. And I'm going to get rid of that stroke color, like this. And of course, that background should be just locked. So let's lock the selection. And of course, to create the base artwork, I'm going to use that line segment tool. And also, let's just turn off that fill and let's get a colored line, just so that we can see it better. And then we are going to create this the intuitive way. So just start dragging a line and then press a key on your keyboard. And in all languages, this is a different key, and there are some languages where this doesn't work at all. So for me, it's the greater than key, because this is the German keyboard. But usually in English keyboard settings, it's the tilde key. So I'm going to press that and then just move it around, and you create a lot of copies of this, like so. So then we have the base artwork. Now, I mentioned that this might not work for you, so we're going to check out a different way. And for that, I'm going into the layers panel, and this is now the time where we need different layers. So I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to select all those lines, and then let's move them to this new layer, and let's just lock it and create another one. And on this layer, we are going to check out the other method. So I'm going to also lock these. And for this other method, I'm going to start just with a vertical line, drawing it from the center to the top by holding down Shift. And then let's take the rotate tool and hold down Alt or Option on the Mac, and then press in the center. Enter a rotation angle and press copy. And now we're going to Command D or Control D on Windows to make copies. I'm just holding that down and Illustrator does the rest. Just like this. And this is now very evenly distributed. So let's select them all. And let's go to Object, Transform, Transform Each. And in here, we are going to Random, and then let's scale them. And you see, we get a slightly uneven arrangement. We can also try some rotation, but that doesn't work in the center. So let's leave the rotation alone and just scale them so that it doesn't look too evenly distributed. And you could also try a different thing and make them smaller. So that makes it better in the center. And then let's try 2 degrees here. Let's see what that gets us. And that might change this a little, like so. So it gets slightly more uneven. I'm going to OK. So let's go on with this one, and that will be the same as the other one. So let's select them all. And now we are going to make them look like the fireworks. So first of all, I'm going to apply a width profile from the menu up here. Let's do it like this. And let's increase the stroke weight. And the fat part of it is in the center, so let's go to the stroke options and just turn that around. It's a little too thick, so let's make it slightly thinner, like so. And then let's go into the gradient panel in Window Gradient, And in here, we are going to apply a gradient to that. And now I have already set up the color. I want to keep that. So what you can do is just take the color and drag that into that gradient strip. And then let's go here and change that to this apply gradient along the stroke, like so. And then what we need to do is put this color up there. And I'm going to take that color out, like so. This needs to be like this here. And also what we need in the stroke panel is the rounded point, which looks nicer. And now we need to make that panel wider so that we can get this closer to the edge. And you can also experiment with different positions of the white one. But what we still need is a copy of this pink gradient stop. So press the Alt key and just drag it. And that one is going to be opacity 0, like so. And that now needs some adjustment. Maybe like this. And to see better what's happening in there, what we can do is go to View and then Hide Edges. That hides the paths. So we do not see a highlight of the paths, and that allows us to see that better, can better judge how that needs to be positioned. If you're done with adjusting the gradient, then make sure that you turn the edges back on, because otherwise you will be very irritated when selecting something. So let's go to View and Show Edges. And now we're done with that. So that's how this works.